my season predictions at the start of the year compared to how it all ended. Now, I've got my pictures here on the right-hand side, I think it's of me, or the other side of my face, which are here and here. So, this was my predictions at the start of 2023 of the ladder, thinking where people are going to go. And why is it not there? Alright, there we go. Alright, so that is what my ladder predictions were. We had the Cats top winning the premiership. We had Brisbane being the runners-up. I actually got that one right. That's a miracle. Melbourne in third, Bulldogs fourth, Sydney fifth, Dockers sixth, Carlton seventh, Port Adelaide eighth, and then in the bottom 10 we had Richmond, Collingwood, I know, I'm an idiot, Gold Coast in 11th, GWS in 12th, St Kilda in 13th, Crows in 14th, Essendon 15th, West Coast 16th, Hawthorn 17th, and then North Melbourne at the bottom. So, looking at that on face value, I've made a lot of stupid ones, but I think at the time, I think I explained it why pretty well. The reason why I said Collingwood to finish 10th, which is a stupid reason now looking at it, was the fact that I thought they overachieved last year and that they were going to fall off. That obviously didn't happen, and Collingwood kept on going, and kudos to them because they had a massive year. And in my opinion, they probably deserve to win the premiership. The Bulldogs finishing fourth. I thought with the list that they currently got, I think they should be in the top four. And to miss the finals is an absolute failure from the Bulldogs. So they should be really sad with their year. And if they don't improve next year, then Luke Beveridge's job is on the chopping block. Fremantle finishing sixth. I think they were definitely an overachieving team in 2022 because they definitely didn't do much this year. And to be honest, I think when they got on a bit of the run just before the bye, I think that was just a bit of luck because they had a pretty poor year, Freo. I think they definitely overachieved in 2022. And 2024 looks very, very bad if they lose Lachie Schultz. I'll just say that right now. GWS and St Kilda, I don't think anyone really predicted them to make the 8. So to have them down there, I don't think that's too far-fetched to say. I think I overachieved on West Coast, to be honest. I think the West Coast should have been bottom for me. I don't know why I didn't have them there, but they finished there. Hawthorn, they only finished one spot below where I said. Sorry, they finished one spot above where I said. But I do think they're definitely on the rise. Essendon and the Crows, I may be a little bit harsh on them. Richmond, I know Josh Jenkins said it, and I know it may be a bit harsh, but I tend to agree with him. I think they are a smoky finish bottom next year. Richmond, they don't have a very good list now. All their players have either retired or left, and I don't think Jacob Kaczynski is going to be good enough to hold up that forward line as the only tool. I know Tom Lynch comes back next year, so that may help a little bit, but I do think that Jacob Kaczynski is going to struggle a bit at times, and I just don't trust Richmond's defence and midfield at this stage. I think they're just a bit too thin in those areas. I think Dusty Martin, at the age of I think he'll be 32 next year, I don't think he should be carrying the list the way he has throughout the end of the year. With Port Adelaide, I guess I was wrong, but at the end of the day, they went out in straight sets, so I can't be too wrong about that. The Swans, I did say they were going to fall off a bit, and with about 8 or 9 rounds to go, I was way off. But they did get into the finals in the end and did go out in the first week. Pretty close, though, against Carlton, so you got to give them credit for that. They did finish 8th in the end. To be honest, I think I explained it pretty well why these teams finished where they did. Obviously, the ending ladder was Collingwood first, Brisbane second, Port third, Melbourne 4th, Carlton 5th, Saints 6th, GWS 7th, Sydney 8th, and then the bottom 10 was the Bulldogs 9, Crows 10, Bombers 11, Cats 12, Richmond 13th, Freo 14, Gold Coast 15, Hawthorn 16, North Melbourne 17th, and then rounding out the AFL ladder was West Coast at the bottom. So I will say Geelong. I know it's really interesting because they haven't really bagged out Geelong for the year that they had. They had a really poor year, and I know they had a lot of injuries, but so did the Swans, and they still made the 8 after getting demolished in the grand final by Geelong. So I think they had a huge hangover from the grand final. And other than Jeremy Cameron and Tom Atkins, I guess, I don't think any of the Geelong list had a better year than what they did in 2022. And that's not good because the rest of their list is pretty thin going into 2024. And not many players have been linked to the Cats. Not very young players either. So I think Geelong may be in for a bit of a tough couple of years if they don't start bringing in some big fish. And it looks like there has been some news about Sean Darcy potentially re-signing with the Dockers. So I would be interested if Geelong can really rise in the next couple of years because their list management, they went for a premiership in 2022. Their list management has been good. But last year wasn't the best. They only got Ollie Henry and Tanner Bruin, I believe. Looks like most of this trade period, they're just going to be losing players like a Radicalea. So I don't really know where Geelong sit next year, and they're looking to trade away their pick 7. So, yeah, I think Geelong could be in a bit of all sorts. However, they were only a game. They were 2 games out of the 8, so that's quite a big miss. Actually, looking at it, they missed out by 2 big games, and Essendon. For a team like Essendon and the Crows to have beaten them from where, if you look at the start of the year, I think it's pretty poor from Geelong. So those were my predictions. I only got one right, which were Brisbane to get runners up. But anyway, that will be a lot different next year. I think that if I had to look at the ladder right now, the AFL ladder as it finished, just quickly, I think Port Adelaide are going to fall. I don't know if they'll fall out of the 8, but I think they're going to fall. St Kilda, I think, will fall. I think the Cats and the Tigers will fall from where they are. That's a big thing saying that. I think Hawthorn will rise. I think the Gold Coast will rise. I think the Swans will rise. I think Carlton will rise. And that's probably my big raisers and lowerers. I've really got question marks on Freo, the Bulldogs, GWS a little bit because I just don't know where they're going to be. And a little bit on Brisbane. I'm just a little bit... Brisbane had their best list going into the season, and this season, in my opinion, and to miss out just is a bit disappointing for them. I think they'll bounce back, but there is a little bit of a question mark on them if they can go again, because I think after every grand final, sometimes teams can have that bit of a bad loss and then can't return back. I think Brisbane will return back pretty quickly, but they're probably my only question mark. They're a very small question mark. The other ones are a little bit bigger. But basically, guys, that is what I've got for predictions for early predictions for next season, I guess.